Hi, everybody. My name is Ralph. I'm part of the Lake Oswego United Church of Christ community, and today I thought I would turn tables on Adam, okay?
Turning the tables. I'm the one who asks the questions here,
That's
Ralph.
right. Forget it. Forget about it. You can't have all the fun.
Okay, all right.
Some of us get to have fun, too.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So, Adam, let's see. You are Minister of Faith Development. Is that correct? Do I have your title correct?
Yeah, that's quite a title.
Yeah, I know. What do you do around here?
What do I do?
Besides recording videos.
Besides recording. So, yeah, well, I record these videos, and I do mostly weekly videos on what the text is going to be for the upcoming Sunday.
Yeah.
So those are a lot of fun. I do Bible study. I teach the children anywhere from kindergarten to 6th grade. And I hang out. Yeah, I get to hang out with a bunch of cool people here at Lake Oswego United Church of Christ.
What a job.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I get to where I was ordained here about 2.5, 3 months ago. And now I get, because I was ordained, I get to wear robes.
I know. Very cool. Very cool. Do you know I have a PhD, and the very best part of having a PhD is that I get to wear those big robes.
It's so fun wearing a gown.
Yeah.
I never thought it would be so exciting, but yeah,
I call it academic drag. So you get to wear religious drag.
Religious drag. I'll show up in drag. It's fun. Let's do that. We live in Portland. Yeah. So
why not?
Why
not?
Keep it weird, man.
Yeah.
Let's go with that.
Yeah. And then you have those kinky ropes around you.
What do you think of the ropes?
Well, I think it's pretty weird. Am I correct that they were, from the Franciscan self-flagellation thing?
Well, fortunately, my ropes do not have any needles hanging out of them, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, I think so. Let's not go there. At least not today. Okay, so I got 3 questions for you.
Okay.
Let's see. What was church like growing up for you?
For me, church growing up was not a great experience, but there were some bright, shining moments in it. For me, growing up, we had a pastor who I thought was really great. He was warm and welcoming to me, and as a child, that was huge. But for some reason in the church, there were factions that grew. Some people really liked the guy, and some people really did not like the guy. And so there were just these 2 groups that were I remember them being really hostile towards one another.
Wow.
And it ended up that the group that didn't like the pastor ended up winning. And my dad was really involved with the church. And he would go to meetings where he liked the pastor. And he wanted the pastor to be able to stay. And he would go and he would come back just heartbroken about what happened at these meetings and what was happening to the church. And I remember feeling at the time, wow, I don't want to have anything to do with church.
Yeah.
I don't want to have anything to do with this community. I would pretend that I was sick on Sunday mornings. I would pretend that I was sleeping, and my dad eventually stopped fighting me and going to church. So I would wake up and go upstairs and watch Star Wars. That was my spiritual experience on Sunday mornings.
Okay. Well,
but just,
I can see that.
Just like you were saying, there were some really great things about that church. One of them was there was this husband and wife team who ran the youth group. So on the days like middle school, early high school, when I was still going to that church, they would always be there, and they would start off every session with highs and lows. And I remember thinking at the time, wow, these people, these adults in my life actually care about what's happening in my life right now. And they're giving space for other people my age to be able to express what's going on in their lives, in their schools. And that had this really profound, I didn't realize how profound an impact that would have on me until later when I became a youth minister. So, yeah.
Wow. So your community, your church community, was not the nurturing place that it should have been.
And my dad looks back on it now and says, Adam, I really wish I would have taken you to a different church. I think, he's still struggling, I think, with some of those things that was going on during that time. But fortunately, it's a better place. People seem to like the pastor now, so
Good.
so.
Good.
But and my dad's happy with the church now, so
Good.
so that's good. Yeah.
All right.
So.
All right. So, what does faith mean to you?
Faith means to me, there's this really great passage that Paul wrote that has just kind of been wearing on me, like in a good way. Paul says this in 2 Corinthians, God was in Christ reconciling the world to God's self, not counting their trespasses against them, and entrusting us to the mission of reconciliation.
What the heck does that mean?
I know, it's long. It's what does it mean? So there are a couple of things. First, we always think that God is actually counting our trespasses against us. This is kind of the Santa Claus Jesus, the Santa Claus God. So God is up in the world looking over our shoulders,
naughty
counting.
and nice.
Yep, naughty and nice. That's exactly it. And if you're good enough, you make it to heaven. If you're bad, you're going to eternal. So Paul in this passage is saying God is not like that. Get that image of God out of your mind. God is the one who doesn't count sins against us. So who is it that is counting trespasses and sins against us? It's like at my church community when I was growing up. We do that.
Man.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
And the way that we get God involved in it is by making a power play and saying, see, God's on our side. Because whenever we think God is counting sins against people, it tends not to be us.
Yeah, right.
It tends to be the other people who are the bad guys who are causing all the problems. God is saying, get away from that kind of idea about who God is. This is what Paul is trying to tell us. God is not in the world as the divine accuser, the one who points fingers against everyone. God is in the world trying to bring about reconciliation between people who maybe were hostile towards one another, who didn't like one another. So faith is ultimately a way of trusting that the universe, that God is in the world, not angry or hostile or wrathful towards anyone, but seeking to help us find ways to reconcile in the spirit of love with one another. And, I mean, it takes a lot of trust to live into this way of life. It's also very exciting because it's a ministry that we're all called into. And it's a dangerous ministry because when you start living into this, man, it's like you just enter into the hostility in the world with a sense of love. Yeah. And it's challenging, it's prophetic, and it's prophetic for other communities, and it's prophetic for your own community, and it's fun. It gets me jazzed.
Radical love.
And it's like the world works kind of in the opposite way. So it's easy to get seduced into no, you don't respond to hostility with love. You
There's
respond to
certainly
hostility with
lots
hostility.
of things in this world going on now, but always that suggests that we're swimming against the current when we do this radical.
Yeah, I mean, Paul, when he's writing this, he's about to get beheaded by the Romans, right? So he's not saying, this isn't some wishy-washy, hey man, let's just love one another and it's all going to be good. No, this is risky. Yeah. And it's also exciting.
Yeah. Well, keep your head on.
Right?
Okay.
I'll do my best.
What does this church, Lake Oswego United Church of Christ, mean to you?
So,
how long have you been around here?
About a year, maybe a year and a half, somewhere around there, I think. My first experience here just kind of sums it up for me in the sense of the community that we have here. When I first walked through the doors into the church, there were these greeters, and they were all smiling and happy. And there was one greeter named Jenny. And I shook her hand, and she goes, hey, I'm Jenny. Welcome to the church. And I was like, hey, Jenny, nice to meet you. So I come in and sit down. And then all of a sudden, Jenny is walking down the aisle leading worship. And I'm like, what is this about? I've never seen this before. That's awesome. Jan Indermill, we were sitting in the back. Jan Indermill grabs a hymnal, and we've got 3 kids, and she's opening up the pages of the hymnal and handing us the hymnal, and we're there, and it's awesome. So it was just this really nice, warm, welcoming environment. And then afterwards, we have coffee hour here.
Yeah.
And we're sitting down with Bill Davis, and he starts telling us these really cheesy jokes, as Bill does. And it was just fantastic.
Bill is a second grade teacher, has been all his professional life.
And master of the cheesy jokes that second graders just love. And me, my inner second grader, was just fantastic about it too. But I think the next week we came, and it was during coffee hour, and I was just walking around kind of awkwardly, and I ran into you. Do you remember this? I ran into Ralph.
I am so sorry. I don't remember.
And I said, hey, how's it going? And it was just Ralph, I don't remember what you said. But then you asked me how I was doing. And it was actually kind of a rough time in my life, I guess. And you asked it in a way where I thought, I think this guy actually means it. And so I just kind of opened up a little bit about some of the rough spots that I'd had during the last couple of weeks. And you just kind of, you took it in. And you said, oh man, I'm really sorry. And again, and it was this really genuine way about you and about this church that is just, it's authentic.
Yeah, yeah, I feel it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what this church means to me. It's a great place, and I'm so glad that me and my family are here.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we're glad you're here too.
Thanks, Ralph.
I'm speaking for, I don't know who, the rest of the community maybe, that not only are you here as a human being, but you're also here as a role,
Yeah.
And doggone it, a role model too.
Well, I love the role, and I love being here. So, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Ralph.
Thank you, Adam.
This was fun.
Bye now.
Bye. This is Adam Ericksen, reminding you that wherever you are on life's journey, you are welcome to join us at 10:30 each Sunday at Lake Oswego United Church of Christ, 1111 Country Club Road in Lake Oswego, Oregon. If you want to learn more about our church, you can find more of my videos on YouTube, and you can explore our website at loucc.org. To reach out to our pastor, Jenny Ott, or to our sabbatical pastor, Linda Jaramillo, or to me, you can call 503-635-4348. Until next time, grace and peace be with you.